Tony Goldwyn, a famous Hollywood actor, director, and producer, has lived a life full of emotions, from the brilliant peaks of his career to the depths of personal sadness. Born on May 20th, 1960 in Los Angeles, California, he has left an indelible mark on the hearts of audiences through his profound roles and passionate directorial projects. At the age of 64, when looking back on his journey, Tony Goldwyn carries in his heart both joy and regret, especially the deep pain related to personal losses and responsibilities that he feels he has not fulfilled. His life is a long story, interwoven with glory, failure, and constant efforts to keep the flame of passion alive. To understand him, we must turn every page of his life, every sadness, every achievement, and every beat of his heart. Tony Goldwyn's greatest sorrow in life was not a single event, but rather an accumulation of losses and a sense that he had not been able to spend enough time with the people he loved most, especially during the important moments of their lives. Born into a prominent Hollywood family, with his father, film producer Samuel Goldwyn Jr., and his mother, actress Jennifer Warren, Tony grew up in the spotlight of the entertainment industry. However, his family's fame also came with invisible pressures. As the eldest of 5 children, he realized early on that he had to prove his worth, not only to escape his father's shadow, but also to build a legacy of his own. His father, a strict but dedicated man, always taught him that hard work was the key to success, while his mother, an artist at heart, instilled in him a love of acting and storytelling through film. Tony saw the fragility of life as a child when he lost his beloved grandmother in 1970. She had told him stories about the golden age of Hollywood, sparking his passion for the arts. Her death, though a natural part of life, left him with a deep sadness, a sense that he had not thanked her enough. That sadness deepened when he lost his father in 2015. Samuel Goldwyn Jr. was a major influence on Tony's career, but their relationship was not always easy. There were times when Tony felt his father was too strict, too focused on work, and neglected family moments. When his father passed away, Tony realized that he had not spent enough time talking to him, understanding the sacrifices he had made. That guilt, though unspoken, haunted him for years. Tony's greatest sorrow became even more acute as he faced the pressures of being a father and husband. To his 2 daughters, Tess Frances Goldwyn and Anna Muskie Goldwyn, he tried to be a good father, but his busy career meant he was often absent from their important milestones. Once, when Tess asked why her father hadn't come to her piano recital, he just hugged her, his heart heavy. Those moments, though small, piled up into a pain that he carried with him throughout his life. The pain of a man who had put his career before his family, only to realize that time could never be turned back. This sadness, combined with regrets about what he had lost, became the deepest pain in Tony Goldwyn's life, a pain he learned to live with every day. Tony Goldwyn's career has been a long one, with both highs and lows. Starting his career in the 1980s, he quickly gained attention with a small role in Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives, 1986. However, his real breakthrough came in 1990 when he was cast as Carl Bruner in the blockbuster Ghost, opposite Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore. His deep villainous role brought him widespread recognition, making him a household name in Hollywood. With his cinematic face, piercing eyes, and excellent acting skills, he continued to make his mark through a series of roles in films such as The Pelican Brief, 1993, with Julia Roberts, Oliver Stone's Nixon, 1995, and The Last Samurai, 2003, with Tom Cruise. In television, Tony achieved great success as President Fitzgerald Grant III on the series Scandal, 2012 to 2018, produced by Shonda Rhimes. The role not only brought him a large fan base, but also earned him multiple award nominations, including a Critics' Choice Television Award. Standing on set, watching young actors learn from him, he felt his heart warm, as if all the hardships he had gone through were worth it. In addition to acting, Tony has also proven his talent as a director. He directed many episodes of popular series such as Dexter, Grey's Anatomy, and Scandal, as well as the film Conviction, 2010, a touching story of brotherhood and justice. The film received critical acclaim, and when he stood on stage at a film festival accepting the award for Best Director, he burst into tears, not only from joy, but also from the memory of his father, who had always believed in his abilities. But Tony's career was not always smooth. In the late 1990s, he invested in an independent film project called Echoes of Time, which he hoped would be a turning point in his directing career. The film, which tells the story of a family during the Great Depression, was expected to touch the hearts of audiences. However, due to lack of management experience and distribution problems, the film failed miserably at the box office. He not only lost money but also faced heavy criticism from the media. One rainy night, sitting alone in his office, looking at articles criticizing his project, he cried in his hands. The tears were not only because of financial failure, but also because he felt like his dream, the dream of telling meaningful stories through cinema, had been shattered. Another failure he faced was the stage project The Inheritance in 2005, a play he produced and directed at a theater in Los Angeles. Although the play received some positive reviews, it failed to attract audiences and quickly closed after a few weeks. One quiet night, sitting in an empty auditorium, looking at the posters for the play, he burst into tears. The tears were not only because of the failure, but also because he felt like he had not done enough to deliver a work he was proud of. But Tony did not let those failures define him. He got up, learned from his mistakes, and continued to dedicate himself to the arts, from directing television episodes to producing new projects. Tony Goldwyn's achievements are not just about fame or awards, but also about leaving a meaningful legacy. One of his greatest efforts is to inspire the younger generation through his acting, directing, and life story. He regularly speaks at universities and film festivals, where he shares his journey from a boy growing up in his father's shadow to a respected artist. He emphasizes that success does not come from luck, but from perseverance and self-belief. Once, a student asked him, "How do you get through times of despair?" He smiled, his eyes sparkling, and replied, "Find a story worth telling, no matter how small. For me, it's family and art." Those words, though simple, are a testament to his resilience. Another achievement he always strives for is to be a good father and husband. Although his busy career prevented him from being with his children every day, he always tried to maintain a close relationship with Tess and Anna. He called them regularly, attended their important events, and encouraged them to pursue their dreams. When Tess decided to pursue a career in design, he was there to support her, from advising her to encouraging her through the difficulties. When Anna began to explore her passion for writing, he spent hours reading her writing and giving her sincere advice. Those moments, although not known to the public, were the most precious achievements of his life. He wanted his children to grow up believing that they could achieve anything despite the difficulties their family had gone through. Tony Goldwyn's love and marriage is an emotional story, with sweet moments mixed with challenges. He met Jane Muskie, a famous production designer, in 1985 when they were both working on a film project. Jane, with her intelligence, creativity, and warm heart, made his heart flutter from the first time they met. In the early days of their relationship, they often walked around Los Angeles, shared their dreams, and laughed like children. When they married in 1987, he believed he had found eternal happiness. The birth of Tess in 1990 and Anna in 1995 made him feel that his life was complete. He loved the moments when the whole family was together, from cozy dinners to weekend trips. But marriage was not always easy. In the early years of their marriage, he was absorbed in his career, often away from home because of film projects. Jane, although patient and understanding, sometimes felt lonely. There were nights when she waited for him until late, only to find him returning with a tired face and no explanation. Arguments began to break out, not because of a lack of love, but because they did not understand what the other needed. One day, in a fit of anger, Jane said that she did not know how much longer she could continue living like this. Those words woke him up. He realized that he had unintentionally pushed the woman he loved away, and the fear of losing her became the motivation for him to change. Gradually, he learned to balance work and family. He began to spend time listening to Jane, sharing his fears and dreams with her. Together, they overcame difficulties, from the failure of Echoes of Time to the financial pressures of raising two daughters. Jane, with her patience and unconditional love, became a solid support for him. But even as their relationship grew stronger, he still carried a sadness in his heart. Sadness for the years he had not appreciated her enough. Once, watching Jane work in her design studio, he quietly held her hand and whispered an apology, knowing she did not need it. Tony Goldwyn's children, Tess Frances Goldwyn and Anna Muskie Goldwyn, were his greatest pride, but also a source of deep regret. Tess, born a